What's a good way to approach altcoin accumulation while Bitcoin is likely to go up in quarter four, but without having to wait for altcoin season? Because a lot of times, if you wait that long, you've missed out on all the gains. Welcome to Crypto Simulation Theory. I am the Gaussian Snake, and this is not financial advice. First, I'll start by saying that I have some people in my Telegram group who are really, really skilled at picking altcoins that are hot, and we share them right away, completely free. So be sure to join that. It's in the video description below. So I'm going to share some altcoin accumulation strategies and try to keep it short and simple so that you don't get overwhelmed with too much information. And I'm just going to talk about some of the things that I look at when selecting altcoins for my portfolio. I am very, very picky with the altcoins that I accumulate. And if you go to my crypto simulation theory Telegram group, you'll see that there's other strategies that my members use that are quite reliable and in some cases guaranteed to give you a winning strategy. And the reason they do that is because they have rules in place to prevent you from ever having losses, or if you do have losses, they'll be very minimal. So I suggest you join to find out more about that. But you're going to hear from me tonight about the importance of balancing technicals with fundamentals. And so that's going to be the focus. Now, many people have a favorite place they go to look for new altcoins. My personal favorite app is Dex Tools, and I'll put a link in the video description to this. I use this to analyze altcoins and also to see kind of what's on the leaderboard. So if you go down on Dex Tools, you'll see a few different categories of altcoins. You got exchange tokens, DeFi, memes, AI, NFTs, gaming, sports, celebrity, and fun tokens. Now we all have our favorite categories. I really like all of these categories, but my personal favorite is probably meme coins. I like and AI. I think those are two really strong categories. Although I think all of these are relevant, so we could just click on one of these categories, and then as it loads, it's going to tell us what some of the top performers are in that category. And you can of course organize it however you see fit. But you can see like here's a coin called Guzu on Solana, and you've got Shiba Inu and Bone and all these different coins, and it's hard to tell like which ones are the legit ones, which ones are copycats, because you want to make sure, of course, that you have the genuine one, and so it can be very overwhelming when you're approaching altcoin accumulation to know exactly what to look for. And so let me give you a few strategies that I look for. First thing I'm going to do is tell you that charts matter the most, but it also depends on how long you intend to be in a coin for. So you can trade charts alone if you're, prepared to enter and exit based on very strict guidelines. If you're not really following those strict guidelines, or even if you are, it's helpful to know what are some good things to look for from an altcoin. So I'm just going to pick one randomly. I have heard of Bone. I don't really know much about it. You see, it's wrapped ETH. So this is going to be on the Ethereum blockchain. I tend to prefer altcoins that are on Ethereum. Not to say there's anything wrong with Solana or anything, but there's a lot of scams on Solana. Base is good too because Base actually is Ethereum, just layer two on there. So if we click on Bone, for instance, and I'm just picking this out at random, and we'll let the chart load. While it's loading, there's going to be a lot of statistics that come up that we're going to be able to analyze to tell kind of what the health of this altcoin is. So one of the things I'll look at is over here on the left-hand side. It's going to give me the smart contract address. It's going to tell me that my market cap. My market cap is 95.26 million. Total market cap is 103.57 million. So 92% of the circulating supply has been released. And that might sound really good to you, and it is, but keep in mind that there are a lot of meme coins where 100% of the circulating supply has been released. So it's generally something that I look for is I like to see that 100% of the circulating supply is released. I don't tend to enjoy when it's not. This is not a terrible, these are not terrible metrics. I also want to look at how much volume is coming in relative to the market cap. Seeing that this coin has roughly, $100 million market cap, um, seeing the volume at around $57,000 is not really that impressive at all. So I like to see volatility a little bit higher. Now, just because volatility is low doesn't mean that this coin won't do well. Sometimes it can just be that it's in a long-term consolidation, and this coin is 3 years old. So I like to see coins that are a little bit newer than that, but not super new. Like coins that are maybe like, only a few days old, they're really, really risky. You can still play them, but just be careful. Something else that I look at is I go over here to the holders tab. And this is going to tell me the token holder distribution. This is very, very useful metric. And you can see generally these top wallets are going to be exchange wallets where you would buy the coin. So I try not to focus too much on those, especially the topmost ones. But as you kind of work your way down, what you'll notice is that all these top 10 wallets, even with the exchange wallets together, make up close to um, 45% of the circulating supply, which is a bit concerning. So there's 56% of the supply is left to remaining holders. Now, when you have a higher market cap coin, it's pretty normal to see this percentage lower, but seeing it with like a just under $100 million market cap coin is a little bit concerning. So, I'm being very picky with this coin, but for a good reason. Okay, so that's another thing that I will look at. Then what I like to do, and this is why I really like to look at tokens that are on the Ethereum blockchain, is take a look at bubble maps. And what bubble maps do is they kind of tell me how it's kind of like looking at a token holder distribution. But one thing you can't see here are wallets that are transferring crypto back and forth between each other. And I like to look at that to kind of see like maybe these wallets that we're seeing here are not a true representation of the giant whale wallet. So let's go ahead and look at the bubble maps for Bone. Okay, so this is Ethereum bubble maps. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to search by the contract address. So to grab that contract address, what I'm going to do is go back to Dex Tools. And then over here where it says Pool Shiba Swap, I'm going to go ahead and grab Bone, right? And so we'll go ahead and click on that. It'll automatically copy it. And then we go back to bubble maps and we'll Control V, just share that. You'll see right here, Bone Shiba Swap. And this could take like a minute to load. And you'll see, okay, there's definitely some big clusters in here. And this is generally not a good thing, right? So if we click on it, it sometimes will give us some information about the wallets that we're looking at. Right now it's going a little bit slow. So this wallet owns 8% of the supply and it is not necessarily an exchange wallet. Okay, and not only that, but it's connected to two other wallets. Um, and if you look at this bubble right here, this is number 11, crypto.com. Okay, so this is an exchange wallet. I don't worry too much about that. Mexi, this is another exchange wallet. So a lot of these big wallets are exchange wallets. That in and of itself is not too concerning. This is OKX, crypto.com. So a lot of these are exchange wallets. There's some that aren't. Um, Overall, this honestly doesn't look too bad, but I'm extremely picky. Okay, so I mean, I'll find little things that will get me to stop from investing in a project. So I think this is a relatively safe investment. It's 3 years old, it's still surviving, but I'm not sure that it has much gas left in the tank. So, I mean, that of course is getting more into a technical analysis. We're talking about fundamentals right now. And so I'm not really like that crazy about Bone. I mean, it's clearly had its major moments this year and in years past, but we can take a look at the chart of cryptos later. So these are the things I can kind of get out of Dex Tools, and if you use Dex Screener, you can get similar kinds of information. Another place that I like to look for general statistics about a project, and talking like fundamentals, especially with an older one, is I'll go to CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap. So we'll go ahead and see what Bone looks like over there. Okay, so this is CoinMarketCap's page for Bone Shiba Swap. And you can see that the statistics here look fairly similar to what you see on Dex Tools. I do like to look at the volume to market cap ratio. It's got a 3.8% ratio, which isn't bad. That's actually a pretty good ratio. And you see volume is upticked. Of course, this is all negative volume, not positive volume. So we'd like to see that turn around eventually. You've got the website, the Twitter, the Reddit, the Telegram chat. I like to go in and explore these different social features because you can kind of get an idea about the health of a community just by joining the Telegram group. And if you think that's a lot of work to do, then you're probably holding too many coins. So another altcoin accumulation strategy is I tend to stick to a sweet spot between 4 and 6 altcoins. I don't like to go above 6, and I don't really like to go below 4, although I do tend to run on the end of being under diversified than over diversified. But I think either one is generally not a great thing. So these are for existing altcoins that have some kind of history to them. What about like brand new altcoins? Like how do you find those like diamonds in the rough that they come out and you're like, man, how did people find out about these so quickly? Well, the truth is, most of the time you won't find them, and if you do, they're going to be in a lot of cases scams. So how do you avoid getting scammed and find ones that may have a chance of actually being decent? Let's take a look. Okay, so there's a Telegram group that I was introduced to that I use to screen altcoins that I think may have potential, although be honest with you, most of them don't. So let's go ahead and take a look at, I'm going to go ahead and pull up my Telegram for you to look at that and we can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is a group called New Ethereum Pair Reviews, and it has about 3,422 subscribers, which isn't really a lot if you think about it. They've got a website and a Twitter. We're not going to go through that. And I'll put a link in the video description to this Telegram group. And this group is really great because they have a bot that reviews altcoins and puts kind of all their information here. So we could look at the latest one that just launched called Gork 2.0. Um, on Ethereum, and I've never heard of this. Just looking at this right now, it tells you the pair age 4 minutes, market cap $2,000, one holder, 1 billion supply, $5,000 in liquidity. Highlights the open source contract, and there's no buy and sell tax, so those are positives. Having one holder is definitely not a positive. Contract is not renounced. Liquidity is not locked. Liquidity is not burnt. Could be a honeypot, meaning that once your money's in there, good luck getting it out. And it's like honey's very sticky. Contract wallet owns 98% of the supply, so and no socials. This looks like it's like just a complete scam. We could scroll up and you can see most altcoins are scams. So you could spend like all day on one of these and not find anything decent. I mean, look at this one, InstaVid Video AI, 4 holders. This one has 13 minutes, 25. It doesn't even say how many. Cat and dog. Look at all these red flags. Like if you scroll up here, this is going to depress you a little bit. It is really hard to find good altcoins. And in my entire time using this, I have found very few that I would even entertain looking at. Like, look, as we just go up and up, but this is important. This is why you want to screen your altcoins. You want to look for things like this. Is the contract renounced? Does it have a buy and sell tax? These buy and sell tax suck. Like, they don't really benefit you. Like a lot of times, teams will say that they're going to use them for marketing, and it doesn't really happen that way. It's just a scam in a lot of cases. You want to make sure your liquidity is locked, not burnt. You don't want any funny business happening there. Having a contract wallet owning 60% of the supply, suspicious wallets with 28, this is just a clear scam in the making. And look at how many people are trying to scam. Like, you don't see any good projects. Like, as I'm scrolling up, like, these all suck, every last one of them. And these are fairly new. Like, these are 2 minutes, Baby Nero, right? um, so I'm also going to say, when it comes to, and I may get a little bit of pushback on this, but like, let me just give you an example of what I'm talking about. We'll go back to Dex Tools for a second. When it comes to altcoins, you're going to find that the successful ones have many copycats. So if I type in PEPE, for instance, it's going to go ahead and load all the PEPE tokens that exist. And there's going to be like a ton of them. It's still loading. Let's let it finish doing that. Now, I'm not sure if you even knew this, but look at how many Pepes there are. And these are on Ethereum. So I did Pepe Rapid because there's just so many of them. You've got 2 Pepes on Ethereum. I think these are actually the same contract, though. I think one is Uniswap version 3. This is Uniswap version 2. But these are the contract that ends in 1933-069. 0x69. You've got Pepe on base, which is going to be your second most popular Pepe. And then you've got below that Blastin Pepes, which ends in B965, Baby Pepe. Like, look at just all these Pepes. There's so many of them. So you might be tempted to go for one of these lower market cap ones, but I mean, look at these scores, like a score of 1 on some of these. Score doesn't necessarily mean it's a safe play, right? I would tend to stick with the original, which is Pepe on ETH. Now, base Pepe has become very, very popular, so there are times where you could potentially see one of these later plays actually do very, very well, and base Pepe has done very well. But generally speaking, I like to stick with the original contract. And I'm not picking on Pepe in particular. It's just Pepe is one of the top altcoins of this cycle in terms of like the meme coin space, and you can see just how many imitators it has. just on Ethereum alone. And we could type in, Pepe slash Solana, and we'd see probably a very similar picture. But the original one is on Ethereum, and this is the one that debuted a little over a year ago. It actually debuted in April of 2023, so like a year and a half ago, more accurately. Okay, let's briefly explore the technical side of things for picking up altcoins, and this is where we're going to get into some gray areas. So there are very well researched and highly respected theories behind what make great entries and great exits with altcoins. We're not going to talk about exits right now because this is more of an accumulation video. But if you go to my Telegram group, you'll learn a lot about kind of what other members do to select their altcoins and really stay on top of some of the hottest coins. So generally, you want to approach coins that are leading in the market or have the potential to lead. And one of the things that you want to check is how a coin is doing against its Bitcoin pair. So something like Pepe, we could look at it probably on like a weekly time frame because it has so much history. When a chart has a lot of history, looking at it a weekly time frame can actually make a lot of sense. And then what you want to do, there's a lot of different ways to approach this, but you want to have some kind of moving averages that you use. And so in my group, they tend to favor the 10-week and 40-week simple moving average. So I'll go ahead and pull those up on Pepe and we'll take a look at that. So this is not the strategy that I use, but I deeply respect this strategy because, and I do look at it sometimes. I'm not saying I don't use it at all. But so what you're seeing here is a 10-week and a 40-week SMA. So simple moving average for Pepe. And the 10-week is going to be in yellow and the 40-week is going to be in blue. And you can break up these the way that the 40 and the 10 interact in different stages. I'm not going to get into all that because I'm not an expert on it. But if you kind of look at how the 10-week has been trending towards the 40-week, if this trend breaks, this is not really a great thing for Pepe, right? And it would mean probably not the safest entry point. So you want to see if price can hold above the 10-week and hold above the 40-week, and these moving averages can be stacked. Another thing I like to throw in here as well is just look at a moving average ribbon. So you could just pull up a moving average ribbon, and this is going to give you the 20-week in yellow and the 50-week in blue. Now, the 40 and 10 are more traditional in stock market investing, and there's a theory that's going on in my group that those moving averages are a lot more meaningful in crypto as well, perhaps than the 20 and 50, although I don't know if there's any like hard and fast rule about this. And you can break this down into daily moving averages too if you wanted to. It just depends on your time frame. So let's say if we want to go to daily moving averages, you can see there's a whole bunch of moving averages. And generally what you want to see is you want to see the moving averages stacked, breaking out in this kind of way where they're stacked from least to greatest. And then you also probably want to turn on some volume as well and pay attention to what's going on there. Now you're not going to see any volume on this particular chart because this is the crypto indicator, meaning that it is sort of like looking at all of the market data for Pepe. You'd want to pull up one of the exchange indicators to do that. So we could pull up like Pepe USD. Maybe we're going to be looking at Kraken. Let's just look at Kraken, for example. Then we can pull up some volume and see on Kraken how Pepe is doing. You probably want to go for where it's going to be, how the biggest volume. So let's see if we have like maybe, generally speaking, the ones that are near the top are going to be sort of the biggest, but we'll just go Kraken for now and see how you get like this nice big surge of buy volume coming in. But typically before that, you start to see some consolidation volume, and you're starting to see that kind of happen again here. But what you don't like is that you have the 200-week stacked above the 20, above the 100. It's all a big mess here. So, it's up to you exactly when you want to buy into a coin, but generally the people who have the winning strategies are going to buy in as close to here as possible and try to get out up here before you crash through. So that's an example of what goes on in my group. Obviously, I'm oversimplifying it, and I suggest you join the Telegram to find out more. People in there are very generous at sharing their strategy. So there's a few things that I like to look at. One of the things I like to look at is also moving average ribbon, but I actually don't use simple moving averages. I use whole moving averages, or HMAs. And if you've been following me for any time, you know that about me. And these are much more current moving averages. And you can see we're actually getting a death cross of the 20 with the 50. 50's kind of turned down, 100's turned down. These moving averages haven't quite stacked yet the way we would like them to, but we do see a nice bottoming formation here. So we would be waiting for some kind of confirmation before we would probably enter into our Pepe position just to be very safe. Again, though, it depends on how you're approaching things, right? Like Pepe has broken the overall downtrend line. If we were to draw one, you know, it's broken it. So it's coming back and it's testing it successfully. So that is something to pay attention to and say, hey, that looks pretty good. Another very simple indicator that I like to use is the Gunnar EMA. So this is sort of like a bull market support band, bear market resistance band. And you can look for things like the green being above the red and price being above that is generally considered bullish. And when it's the other way, it's bearish. I like to look at this more on a weekly time scale. I think the daily is just too much fluctuation. So on the weekly time frame, we actually did get a bullish cross recently. So that is something to pay attention to. We broke through the resistance, this long resistance trend line. So these are positive signs, and you can make a decision that, hey, maybe if we come back and we test this Lunar EMA and then it starts to fatten some more, I'm going to enter my position. It's all about the amount of risk that you're willing to take as to like how much of a position size you're going to take. I also like to look at the Gaussian channel, and that does change the colorings of my candles. You get used to after a while, and just kind of see, are we holding the green Gaussian channel? Or are we looking like we're about to crash through it? We did hold it back here in February, which is a positive sign. We kind of came back down toward it, went above it. So, Gaussian channel on a coin with this little history might not be super useful, especially on a weekly time frame. I do still like to look at it though. You can see the Gaussian channel just turned green. That is a lagging indicator reflecting that upward price action. So I think on a coin like Pepe, the Gaussian channel might not be as useful as it is on something with a lot more history to it. And then the last thing I like to look at is I like to look at the Bitcoin pair. I shouldn't say that's the last thing. It's something very important, actually. The Bitcoin pair and the ETH pair. So we can pull it up on Bitfinex, and this is one way you can do it. Is sometimes there's Bitcoin pairs already available, and you want to see that your asset has a history of outperforming Bitcoin and looks like it's likely to outperform Bitcoin again. And we are seeing with Pepe a very nice bottoming formation that took place and then a move up. So this does look fairly promising for a play against Bitcoin. And if you want to compare against Bitcoin with, say, the crypto one, for instance, you can use an indicator called the Mansfield RSI, and this will give you the strength of Pepe against Bitcoin. You can see lately it hasn't been very strong against Bitcoin on the daily, and sometimes it's hard to get data. Like we go to the 5-day, you can see, wow, Pepe's done really well against Bitcoin by and large. And so this is something you want to check, and you can also check this for Ethereum as well to just check your trading pair against ETH as ETH starts to show strength against Bitcoin, which it hasn't really done yet. So that's why I'm mainly focusing on the Bitcoin pair. Finally, is the question of like, well, when do I accumulate altcoins? Again, that's a personal decision. Nobody can tell you, but you want to see favorable conditions starting to develop for altcoins in general. And so you want to look at something like others dominance as one of the metrics. Obviously, there's more than this, but I'm trying to keep things short and simple, short and sweet for you guys so that you don't get overwhelmed. And we can see right now that others dominance is, it's in a bear market resistance band. And so this red being above the green means that the altcoin market has been in a bear market against Bitcoin. But lately we did try to challenge this Gunnar EMA, and we're seeing it start to thin. We're seeing it start to narrow, and that can actually be the precursor to a bullish cross. And getting a bullish cross on the weekly time frame is actually kind of a big deal, especially if we can hold it. So you have to take risks in crypto, and you have to make a decision like, do I want to wait until the bullish cross confirms, or do I want to just start to buy in now? And that is entirely up to you. So I have people in my group who would wait for very specific conditions to take place before they would get into altcoins, and then I have others who recognize. I should say that most people in my group are buying altcoins, right? They recognize that others dominance has made a pretty convincing bottoming process, and there's just a lot of things going on in the crypto space that seem to suggest that an altcoin season could be brewing right now. And you don't want to buy altcoins when you're already in an altcoin season. Generally speaking, you want to buy them when the market is starting to set itself up for a coming altcoin season, and it's not very obvious that you should be accumulating alts. If you wait till it's obvious, you probably missed most of your returns. That's just the way it is, right? The game is never obvious. So those are just some of the altcoin accumulation strategies that I use and that people within my group use. Again, go to my Telegram group. I really strongly encourage you to join. It's a small group and we all get to know each other really well, and everybody shares stuff. There's no guru there, right? Like we're all equals. And that includes me. I'm learning just as much as I'm sharing. And yeah, let me know what you thought of this video. Did you like this video? Give it a thumbs up if you did. If there's something you felt like could have been improved about it, let me know in the comments. And otherwise, if you really enjoy crypto simulation theory, be sure to subscribe to my channel for content like this and for great overviews of Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, and all things crypto related. So in my Telegram group, I also do regular updates. I also have a Twitter that you can follow as well if you want updates on there. I do those nearly daily. So I look forward to seeing you. And again, nothing in here is financial advice. Good luck trading. Good luck accumulating altcoins. It's entirely personal decision, but I wish you the best, whatever your approach is. See you around in the crypto simulation.